This is Ryan Cantor. I just put out a video about Clemson transfers for football and basketball. We have some big news that has changed the game for basketball, so I want to do a quick video to address that, talk about it here. Let's pull this up. All right. So we talked about Jake Heidbreder. He was the leading scorer for Air Force. He comes over, and Jack Clark joins from NC State. Those were the two big ads. They really give Clemson's scoring punch, especially with Heidbreder. Jack Clark, more of an all-around player and rebounder. You know, you've got to replace Brevin Galloway, and you've got to replace Hunter Tyson. So you need a lot, and they're not bringing in much in terms of immediate impact freshmen. In fact, they've only brought in one freshman. It's really interesting that while Coach Dabo Sweeney has taken an approach of taking bigger classes or a bigger class this year for the first time to address projected attrition, Brownell has it's a very different situation because he's not bringing in 4 and 5 star freshmen as often. So he's actually intentionally left spots open for transfers, and he's hit some home runs. Heidbreder, now we are hearing he has some sort of hip or back issue. I don't want to go too into it because I don't have the details, but we don't know how big of an impact he's going to have right away. Based on his production at Air Force, who plays in the Mountain West and frankly played a schedule about as hard as Clemson last year, he could be an impact player right away. But those injuries make it a little unclear. We don't know those details. Jack Clark, I would expect to start. He was at LaSalle for a couple of years before coming to NC State, so this is actually his third year. I think he could make a big impact as an all-around player, secondary scorer, but a guy who can rebound as well and contribute in a lot of ways. And then they added some depth with Boslate coming in from UNC Greensboro. He'll be a backup, just kind of backfill Ben Middlebrooks. But the big news is Joe Girard coming from Syracuse. So Joe Girard averaged 16.4 points a game. He shot almost 40% from three. Big time score. He's 6'1", so he'll be a shorter two guard. But this is the scoring punch Clemson wanted. He's a shooter. He's going to take most of his shots from three, kind of like Galloway in that way. He's not afraid to shoot, but his percentages are better. So loved Galloway being here. Galloway was a guy that I thought was a bad take for Clemson. His percentages, he was super inefficient at Boston College. And he was a bit of a chucker, but he was good for Clemson. And I think Girard could be similar, but maybe kind of next level up. So that's a big ad for Clemson. And now you look at the potential depth chart. You have Chase Hunter, Joe Girard, likely the shooting guard, the two. A little small, but that's okay in the way kind of basketball is moving, especially in college game. You need to be fast. And then Jack Clark, the 6'8" transfer coming in from NC State, is likely to start. You have Wiggins and Godfrey, who are going to be really good reserves. They were freshmen. They saw a fair amount of play, especially Godfrey, and I think they're impact players that are ready to take the next step. Shefflin started a lot at the 3 with Hunter Tyson at the 4. Obviously, big loss with Hunter Tyson leaving, but Shefflin, I would imagine, would shift up to the 4. And then PJ Hall. PJ Hall was not the best player on the team last year. That was really first team all ACC Hunter Tyson. PJ Hall, wasn't 100% necessarily, certainly not at the beginning, but he's a guy the offense runs through. And if he's healthy, playing his best, he has NBA potential. He has star potential. So if he could tap into that, if we can get him to stay healthy, Chase Hunter to stay healthy, this team can be really good. Joe Girard's a big big scorer. We'll see how the defense is. Hall, Shefflin, Girard, I don't know that they're standout defensive players. So we'll need to see Brownell really instill that. That's always been his trademark. And last year, the defense wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't bad, but wasn't great. So we'll need to see the defense be good enough. But this could be an NCAA tournament team. I really hate to do it, but I'm buying in again. I think this could be another transfer-driven NCAA tournament team. So we got a long ways to wait, but a lot to look forward to. Oh, and last thing, Jake Heidbreder, I pushed him here to the second team. I'm hearing rumors that he could redshirt. I don't know, again, with that injury, what the deal is. But if he does redshirt, that gives you 2 years of him after the fact, which is not too shabby. Gives you a little runway, a little future. If he doesn't redshirt, that gives you insane depth with him, Girard, Hunter, all guards, and Dylan Hunter too. Who was good, and then Hemingway's a senior. He wasn't great last year, but he wasn't healthy either. And hopefully Beetle takes that next step. He wasn't a great shooter But he's now entering his redshirt sophomore year, so potentially a lot of depth. Or if he redshirts, still perfectly fine depth and a bright future. So uh, a lot of optimism for Clemson basketball. Guard your hearts, but there's reason to be optimistic. Thanks for watching, and as always, please subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again.